you really can't make this stuff up. How far these people will go to try to destroy your hobbies and everything you love, how they always double down every single time. They're unabashed. They are true believers. And everybody who went out and said woke is dead, it's gone now, we don't have to fight the culture war anymore, doesn't realize that every single major entertainment corporate culture has exactly this attitude. They're pushing this. They just came out with the game Battlefield 6, and while they didn't advertise it, because they know when you advertise it, this kind of response is going to happen, and you're going to get this kind of thing, they have a bunch of gay and lesbian skins in the game that are buried in it, and you actually have to play some of the feminist characters actually for certain roles in that. That's all happening across culture. It's not just D&D. This is one of the worst companies out there. Actually, the tabletop RPG industry, the board game industry, is one of the worst industries for all of this. Even the primary alternatives like Pathfinder, Paizo Corporation actually is worse about this than Wizards of the Coast and D&D, but it's across the board. Now, I've been calling out what they've been doing for the past couple of weeks. There's been more to this. This is some large promotion that they're trying to do, and a lot of people have not actually seen the underlying effect of what they're actually trying to accomplish with this, by the way, and I'll show you in a little bit. But this is broader, and it's bigger than people even realize, as this has been going viral, and people are savaging it. But like I said, D&D are true believers for this woke cause. Let's get into this in just a moment. Please hit the like and subscribe button and join us as we talk about all things in the culture. I'm not just talking about culture like a lot of people on YouTube. I'm actually creating my own. This is a new science fiction trilogy, and I'm trying to bring things back. I'm trying to actually go past, the 90s grimdark, back to when things were optimistic sci-fi, where it was about exploring strange new worlds, where there was a sense of wonder, a sense of heroism for things going on. This is the crew of the EAS Valiant and my Valiant Frontiers book, and they're out there, and each book in this trilogy that I'm putting out on a crowdfund is exploring a new science fiction situation with a new science fiction concept. I think that there's a lot lost with fiction and science fiction in particular, and a lot of this was that back in the day, the Golden Age stuff, influential on original Dungeons & Dragons, even the sci-fi. It wasn't just fantasy. The Appendix N really has a lot of cool books to it, and that's a lot of what's influenced my writing over the years. So check this out. It's in the description below. Actually, we got very close to funding today. Just need a couple more hardcover sets to be sold. We have beautiful. These are going to be the best hardcovers I've ever produced. I'm so excited for just the quality of product that we're putting out there. It's just amazing, and I appreciate you guys for reading. This is in the description below. Please back it today, and let's get back to this news. So D&D, let's paint a history of the last year of D&D and just how far this has gone off the rails. If you remember, at the end of last year, D&D went viral as they put out the making of the original Dungeons & Dragons, and they trashed Gary Gygax, who created the original Dungeons & Dragons in this. In the preface written by Jason Tondro, who's a senior designer at Dungeons & Dragons, he wrote that some language in the first iteration of D&D presents a moral quandary. The documents reproduced in this book include many pages of charts and tables alongside lists of monsters, spells, and magic items. But the game content also included virtual catalog of insensitive and derogatory language, words that are casually hurtful to anyone with a physical or mental disability, who happen to be old, fat, or not conventionally attractive, indigenous, black, or a woman. Some people have charitably ascribed this language to authors working from bad assumptions. In the 70s, wargamers in America were predominantly white, middle-class men. It isn't surprising that they would double class the soldiers a fighting man. Can you believe fighting man? That's another historical term that everybody used until you're not allowed to anymore. But when the pages of Greyhawk, the description of the Queen of Chaotic Dragons includes a dig at women's lib, the misogyny revealed as a conscious choice. It's unfortunate, the fact that women seldom appear in original D&D, and when they do, they're usually portrayed disrespectfully. He went on. Slavery appears in D&D, not as a human tragedy, but devastated generations and some simple commercial transactions. Absolutely crazy. As that came out, this got revealed, the Mexican orcs. And the new D&D editions, because they don't want orcs to be black people, decided to make orcs Mexicans instead. It was so ridiculous. Not only do they make orcs a playable class, but they remove them from the monster manual as a monster, because you're not allowed to say orcs are evil at this point. We talked about R.A. Salvatore's Forgotten Realms novel yesterday. If you haven't watched that video, go watch that, because he's got a whole history. Forgotten Realms has a whole history where they've been leading up to this as well, where, they don't want the drow to be evil or as well. They've actually replaced their skin color, making them lighter because they didn't want them associated with black people. If you noticed, all these people just in their minds have associated all these fantasy concepts with black people themselves. That seems to be the weird thing here, because normal people don't do that. It shows a lot about their own predilections than not. Not only that, but in the Monster Manual, they turned the incubus and succubus here into a transgender allegory where they shift genders depending on what's going on. It's ridiculous. They also introduced male hags and male dryads, characters that were traditionally female. They also went and added this Glam Bard online supplement because they wanted to entice Taylor Swift fans to play the game. Yes, this is the entire intention. They hope that they can get this like Swiftie modern audience, women, minorities, and homosexuals to play. It never works. All it does is just makes people not want to play who are their core audience. And they never actually make something for their core audience, do they? They never say, you know what, we're going to have White Male Appreciation Day. When was the last time you saw any entertainment company actually do something for that, or actually try to intentionally put a new white male lead as like a major sort of corporate brand or anything like that? You never see it. It's always something like this over and over and over again. So last week, the same parent company owns Magic the Gathering. Hasbro owns both of these companies, and Wizards of the Coast is, of course, the sub-brand that also owns most of these companies. They pushed a Trans Lifeline charity live stream on their Magic the Gathering channel through their Magic the Gathering Live account, and they weren't going to stop there. This wasn't the only thing. So this is actually for this as well. In this realm, your story is yours to tell, they posted. You notice this? They always talk about your story, like your story just has to be gay all the time. It's like, wait, what if your story is, like normal Dungeons and Dragons, fighting orcs? You get into this too. It gets crazy because you look at this. So you've got your weird, disordered, like cross-species men being gay, with a bard, I guess probably on drugs or something like that, doing his thing. But you also have kobolds being gay here too. Why would kobolds be dancing with normal people? And that's so weird. And it gets even weirder over here. I pointed it out for people. You see, evil monster capable of hypnosis. That's right. And men carrying out ways contrary to nature. Every time they try to do, and I've noticed this about like transgenderism and homosexuality when they push this in culture, they always kind of tell on themselves that they know what they're doing is evil. And that there's always like a messaging in there that goes, oh, this is actually evil. They always miss on this. It's so funny on this level. But what's not funny is this is also the same sort of thing. Tap or click the link below to check out Dungeons & Dragons and Wizards Magic, that's Magic the Gathering, 2025 Pride Collection. No, it's not Pride Month, it's October, but they're trying to create a new one. Proceeds will benefit Trans Lifeline. So whatever you buy in there is going to go to this charity, much like this thing. Now, this charity has been shown to be a grift already. There are major controversies around it. The founders seem to have been embezzling or the like in there. There's a lot of question marks on this. And naturally, the entire thing is about affirming people's transgender lifestyles. That's what they want to do with this, right? But why are they doing that? And what happens? Well, when you click on the page, and this is what a lot of people are missing right here, Magic the Gathering Pro Shop, Ultra Pro, and Wizards of the Coast. So Ultra Pro are card sleeves. They sell like sleeves for your cards. And like card supplies, like plastic things to store your stuff in. Very, very weird. Magic Pro Shop, of course, more Magic the Gathering stuff, have teamed up to bring you these projects, raising awareness for National Coming Out Day. They're donating the proceeds of sales, a trans-led organization that connects trans people to the community. Support and resources they need to survive and thrive. So National Coming Out Day, they're giving money to an organization. This is literally about trying to coax people into becoming trans and gay and have them come out. And they're actually funding an organization with the purpose of doing that. There's a word for this that they don't want you to use or think about with their Pride playmat. Is anybody going to buy this for $32 for you can have this like little gay village here that doesn't make any sense. Oh my gosh. And you look at the D&D logo with the gay flag colors on it, and you've got some trans flag colors on it. Ugh. The whole point about this is grooming. They want to groom people into different lifestyles. And for the most part, Magic the Gathering and Dungeons & Dragons are played by like high school kids and the like. At least it used to be. That's who they're targeting. That's who they want to come out and change into things. And that's the entire purpose of this. This is a very, very sinister agenda from a major corporation, Hasbro, putting funds into this, putting support into this, and it's crazy when you think about it. That's what's being done here, and it's really, really over the line. Now, a lot of people didn't even click through to see that this was about this National Coming Out Day, which I didn't know was a day until now. I hope that's it. But they're getting savage through this, and so Ian Miles Chong posts this an ex Grok Imagine video about people shooting this up. I like old D&D better, says Huff for Congress here. Let me paint a little something. Someone needs to pull a Pow World on D&D, they say. That's referencing Pokemon there. You need to make a fantasy genre so cringe. I get secondhand embarrassment just looking at this. This isn't Greyhawk, it's cringe. Billy Tucci, who makes the She comic, says this art sucks. Vera Dark mocks it as well. And then there's more as it goes along. So they're getting absolutely savaged and brutalized in the comments on this, as they should. Because think about this. This is about a fantasy game about going out with a party and slaying monsters. Like, what is this about? Who is this even for? Who works on this? Now, this is funny because I've been calling this out all year because, like I said, earlier in the year, they were posting in January, actually promoting their Pride events and promoting their Pride collection back then, too. They've been doing it throughout the year. This is just the only time it's gone viral. This is what the company does fully year-round. This is not a one-off instant. This isn't rage bait. This is what Hasbro and D&D is. And so I said rightly that the company is satanic. They're pushing evil. Obviously, I mean, this is what it is. This is the whole point. This is an evil lifestyle. They even have evil monsters celebrating it, and they want to present it as fun and good and bright pastel colors that kids will like in order to groom people into this lifestyle. That is evil. That is subverting everything. They're actually saying these monsters like the Beholder and the like are happy little gay people, but they're evil, and we know that, right? And so it's about subverting things and calling evil good, because that's what this is really all about, and that is what Satanism is all about. And so it is very, very funny that Dungeons & Dragons actually is satanic now. And so I said this earlier in January. Naturally, I went viral for it, and everybody on the right started going, JDA's bad. He called Dungeons & Dragons satanic, because they weren't reading of course, I was showing their Pride collection in the image when I said that. I said it was satanic. The whole purpose is promoting evil. There's actually a convention for science fiction and fantasy writers called BasedCon, which I wanted to go to. Because I made that post, they banned me from their they call themselves Based, and they were supporting Wizards of the Coast in this, in banning me, and this guy just went and launched on me. Because he didn't like me calling this, very rightfully so, Dungeons & Dragons satanic. But if we can't call evil evil, what is this at this point? If we're not free to do so, if we're going to get banned and removed from conventions that call themselves BasedCon of all these things, we have a lot of work to do in the culture still. And this is what we're trying to do with the channel here. This is what we're trying to build. We've got a great community of real things, because a lot of the influencer class went off the rails. They don't want to take stands on things, because taking stands on things is dangerous, and taking stands on things is like how they try to wait and see for what's popular first, right? We don't do that, because the culture needs leaders actually to do these things here, and that's why our community is so fantastic. So thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out here. Thank you for supporting us through this when these weirdos like this want to just keep our platform down, and I appreciate you being here. So sign up, hit the like and subscribe button. Check out our new book today. This is a great alternative to corporate culture, the type of stuff you'll never see in bookstores these days. You know what the bookstores are promoting. It's even worse than D&D. It's another story. I appreciate you guys for being here. This is in the description below. And I also got a newsletter, Discord, if you want to connect with our community. Thanks for being here. We'll be back.